Hello, this is AI Motorcycles, bringing you an unusual content for the channel. Like, this is very unusual for the channel, but I really like this game. This is like an inspiration for me. This is why I like customization and designing stuff. It all started in this game, and I've seen there's no combat guide anywhere in the vast expanse of YouTube for this game. So I figure I'll make one. First up, I chose Jimmy as my opponent because he's like a very baseline enemy, like not too hard, doesn't have much weaponry, so I can show the basics of maybe, if you can call it, armed combat. You need to understand how to escape grabs like that. If you don't know how to escape grabs, you are going to have a very hard time. So basically you twist outwards with your analogs and inwards multiple times consecutively to shake off enemy's grab, like outside, inside, outside, inside, and that's how you escape grabs. Grabs and throws do a ton of damage. This is one of the basics, and you also need to grab the enemy and toss them, preferably somewhere near, because like what I do here is losing momentum. Like you have to close in the distance and start your combo instead of like chucking the enemy. And don't do this maneuver where you grab and smash it against the wall, because like against higher ranked enemy you wouldn't be able to do that. It only works on the weak ones or the mob enemies you find in the world, not in the arena. Next up, I'm gonna show you how to avoid a zoner type opponent who uses keep away tactics and range weaponry. Like Fennel is a really good baseline for a zoner enemy because he's fast, he got pretty decent weaponry, and I will be able to showcase the usual movement to avoid attacks against him. So you want to dash around, circle your opponent while jumping to trick the enemy to shoot higher than they are supposed to, like those. Jump, and that will surely miss. It's quite a bit harder against enemies who use faster range weapon like bowgun arm and stuff. It's still doable. And keep in mind to use the obstacles to block projectile weapons. However, don't do the same with range melee options like spike ball, ball and chain, and whip arm. They all can ignore in-game obstacles and will still hit you even if you were behind said obstacles. Like, this is why you shouldn't grab enemies. This is why you shouldn't grab and throw too far away. You'll see in a minute. Yeah, Fennel is quick enough to avoid me from landing a combo if I throw him far enough away, but yeah, I still managed to beat him without any weapon.
I won!
Okay, next up I'm going to show a little bit of customization, in which I'm going to change out my loadout Well, for the left arm, I'm going to use a rapier arm. And sorry, for the right arm, and for the left arm, I'm going to use a ranged weapon, which is the boomerang arm. Well, it's kind of hard to find it because it's not sortable, but I'm going to use the boomerang arm. From my experience, it is better to use one melee weapon and one ranged melee weapon, the ones that doesn't use ammo, because the weapon that uses ammo will still deplete when you miss, but stuff like the boomerang arm will only register a hit and decrease the durability if you actually connects, so that's a plus. I'm going to choose Dudley as my opponent, as an example of a slow, but a lot of HP. And I'm going to use the rapier along with the boomerang arm, show you how to counteract some of weapons that makes you lock in place when you use it. Like the rapier and boomerang arm, you have to jump to be more mobile, because instead you're going to be pretty much grounded, and that's not good. Okay, next up, I am going to choose another opponent. First, I'll change my loadout once again. I'm going to use ball and chain, like a very early weapon you can buy at the KA hideout, and claw arm, also a very early weapon. You probably can get it like as early as Happy Garland, but by that time you would want the Bazao arm instead. I'm going to choose the Boss Elephant. And notice I always choose Neverbrook Arena because my computer cannot handle the Happy Garland Arena. It will drop the FPS like crazy.
Get him! I'm betting on you! Kick some ass!
Continuing with the previous concept I used, it is better to have one melee weapon and one ranged melee weapon. Having two melee weapons, like both of it being claw arm, does not provide any benefit instead of the double durability and maybe some more angles of attack, but it is not that good. And the Boss Elephant loadout is, well, not the best. Both of it being spike wall. Well, I guess it. And also use obstacles to put between you and yourself, as you can still hit your opponent through the obstacles with the ball and chain. Grab, throw, melee, and grab, throw, and melee. That's how you win. Nice. Alright. So far I've only showed performances against up until A rank opponents. Now we're gonna take on one of the strongest enemies in the whole game.
Get him! I'm betting on you! Kick
So
some
we're up
ass!
against Snyder. He is S rank and very hard to deal with, especially if you don't know how he battles. So he'll dash around very fast and picks everything around him and try to chuck it. That is actually an opening you can use, because like, no matter how fast the opponent is, if he's like stopping, picks something up, he's gonna stop for like a solid 2 seconds, and you can basically sure hit him every time. So make sure to get something that hits hard, like a rock. Oh, that big rock. Like, yeah, just pick them up, wait for him to pick like a small barrel or something, and just straight hits. That's a surefire way, and Snyder is very good at both throwing and escaping from grabs. So wow, he's gonna spam it, like, yeah. To escape, you just need to dash away or jump, but usually Snyder is good, so he'll sneak in a few hits when you're jumping. So you have to jump and dash as fast as you can, so you might only get hit once. And also against Snyder, I wouldn't recommend trying to pick him up, because picking him up, even if you know how to chain pick up like he does, he still kind of sneak in 1 or 2 hits between you picking him up. So like most likely you will, like get in less damage than you take when you try to spam grab on him. Okay, next one is, this is basically game breaking, and it's kind of a late game tactic, but it really trivializes a lot of hard fights in the game. You just want to equip a bazooka arm, and the other arm, if you can get throwing arm, or just any kind of other arm, maybe shields, and just let the bazooka arm do the work. Like usual against Snyder, lock onto him as fast as possible. He'll stop to pick something up, boom, and just stun lock him to death. Boom, 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 and wow, that's like 15 seconds or something. My tips in using this tactic is like, wait for the opponent to land before shooting your next round, because if you hit him mid animation, he's gonna recover faster and probably break the stun lock. Okay, that's all I can show you guys today. Thank you for watching, and bye bye.